Hi everybody, and welcome to another weekly edition of the Quarter Racing Update at Remington Park. I'm Dale Day. Now, we were not on last week. One of the reasons we didn't have any stakes racing last weekend, but we had a light weekend just 7 days ago. Not the case coming up this weekend at Remington Park. Racing begins tonight on Thursday, April 18th at 6 p.m. Likewise for Friday and Saturday night racing, and Sunday afternoon at 1:30. And we are loaded with stakes opportunities throughout the entire weekend. We actually have $1.1 million plus in purse money on the line on Saturday night. Remington Park Futurity night also on that card, the Remington Park Derby, and some other main events as well. And then on Sunday, the Remington Park Juvenile, a $100,000 race for horses who competed in trials for the Futurity but didn't quite make it. They get to run for some fairly big money as well. So a huge weekend at Remington Park. Time to take a more in-depth look now at the big race for Oklahoma breds, the $720,000 Remington Park Futurity. The Feature Race Spotlight is brought to you by Oklahoma Equine Hospital. Before the spring meeting began, in the very first training race of the season, he began to make his mark with a solid victory. And so began the murmurs about a possible 2-year-old star on the grounds. A month later, he made it official with a tally in a 250-yard maiden event. When it was time for the Remington Futurity trials, he lit up the track with a 2-length victory and the fastest qualifying time from the second night of trials. Now, with the racing world talking about this Oklahoma-bred freshman, Coronado Cartel is ready to take on 9 others in Saturday's feature event, the $720,000 Remington Park Futurity. Owners Micah and Leslie McKinney of Reliance Ranches in Llano, Texas, have mixed feelings about all the stir surrounding Coronado Cartel.
The hype actually makes it fun, but also worse because you hope they live up to their expectations. And so many times there's so many things that can go wrong during the race. But he prevailed last night and really showed some talent, and we're very proud of him. Extremely blessed to own him.
Coronado Cartel is conditioned by leading trainer Eddie Willis. Remington's top jockey Jimmy Brooks will again be in the saddle on Saturday night. Breaking from the 10-hole may help keep Coronado Cartel out of trouble and free to run his race. Another in the field of the Remington Futurity is the eye-catching gray filly Ellen's Regard. Also a pre-meeting training race winner, Ellen's Regard used a Futurity trial as her first official out and turned in the fastest qualifying time from the first night of trials. Ellen's Regard, trained by Stacy Capps, drew the 3-hole for Saturday's card topper. Berkeley Packer is set to ride. Oklahoma Equine Hospital, with rehab facilities that include an underwater treadmill and a cold saltwater spa. 2 locations just off I-35, on Ladd Road and on Oswalt Road. So there's a quick look at a couple of the top qualifiers from each night of trials for the Remington Park Futurity, the $720,000 event, the richest state-bred futurity in American quarter horse racing. So the Oklahoma Reds will be dominant in the race, and they've really taken hold of this event over the last 3 years since it's gone to state-bred company. Joining me now is trainer Stacy Capps. She will saddle Ellen's Regard, fastest qualifier from the first night of trials for the Futurity. Stacy, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about Ellen's Regard. Your trial was your first actual race,
yes,
as far as the races that count. Obviously, Ellen's Regard handled things fairly well. So
yes,
your thoughts going into the race and then coming out, and then once you found out you were not only making the final, but top qualifier.
I was a little nervous going into it. I only give her a schooling race, and that was my decision not to give her an extra start, before like everybody else usually does. I usually don't do that. This mare, she is pretty talented and from where to go and pretty professional, so I thought one start was all she needed. So.
Well, and the training race can serve a little bit as
Yeah.
a race, even though it's not a race where you can wager on it, but it's competitive. There's
Right.
horses in the gate. It's more of the competitive field, and it
Right.
copies the actual race scenario. So in that, you were a winner there
Yes.
as well. So coming out of that, did you make the decision immediately not to use a maiden race? Or?
I made the decision before we ever even schooled, pretty much, to not put a race in her, just because I didn't quite know, I usually don't school them. I usually give them a couple works and then go, but I decided to school them and give the experience and kind of have a fresher horse coming into it. And she's professional, so I knew she could handle it.
Well, she's bright gray and easy to spot,
Yeah.
so that's a nice thing as
Exactly.
well. Tell us about now the trial race. You were hooked up the entire way. Now, some of these trial runners that we'll see a little bit later on got out to a lead and they just kind of cruised.
Right.
You didn't get that opportunity, but
Yeah.
in a way that may have helped you.
I think it helped to give the mare some experience. She didn't get out there and get green. She had competition. That mare, she's one of them. She was behind a little bit all the way, I think, and she's one of them. She's going to chase him down. She's not going to let him outrun her.
Yeah, Send Me This Wagon was the horse that was right next to you out of the gate. You were in the two-hole, actually the four-hole that night. You're on the outside, and Send Me This Wagon's to the inside here as we take a look at it. And you're battling all the way and just get up there at the end. And both of you make the final.
Right.
Only two nights of trials produced more than one horse. So you had one on one night, there's another one the second night.
Yes.
So sometimes that works out.
I wasn't even watching the times all night long until my daughter was playing softball in Bixby, Oklahoma, so I was hauling back and forth to races, and Randy Hill come up to my husband afterwards and said, "Congratulations, we have the first and second fastest time of the night." So I had no idea what the times looked like.
So you didn't have to sweat it out, or you weren't worried?
No, I wasn't really worried about it. It either she is or she isn't. I knew the mare was going to do her job. When you got 2 days worth of trials, it's up in the air anyway, so.
And you were in one of the later trials.
Yes, I was in one, I think the same to last trial.
So if you were sitting and watching trials, and you say you were put up a good time in trial number 2, you have to wait for 8 more trials.
I wears myself out. I get stressed out then, which I didn't. I pulled in here just in time to watch because my husband, he had to get everything ready because, like I said, my daughter was playing softball, so I was trying to make tournaments and back and forth.
All right, so preference is to have a later trial if you've got a good horse you think you can make it. Okay, so talk about your feelings going into the final now Saturday night. You've had almost 2 weeks to get ready for it. What type of track work have you done? Obviously no workouts or anything like that, but what have you been doing to get Ellen's regard set for this race?
She just, she tells us what she wants to do. If she gets too high in the stall, we'll take her out and pony her. I don't track her a lot. She's not one that wants to track a lot, so she goes bucking and playing quite a bit. I'll pony her and maybe take her out back and graze her in the grass or pony her up and down the path. I think Berkeley's been on her once since the trials, and she pulled up great. And so just keeping her happy right now is all we can do.
All right, so there's a lot of talk about a couple of other horses as well. You were top qualifier from the first night.
Right.
Coronado Cartel's top qualifier from the second night. How do you think you're going to do against Coronado Cartel and the others? I mean, it's kind of a roll of the dice still. You got a lot of fresh 2-year-olds with 1, maybe 2 starts tops.
Right. I think Coronado Cartel is going to be a tough one to outrun. And I liked Eddie's other one, Walking Perry. I really like that colt too. I like that colt school and race. And I think we're all 10 of us are in, so we're all going for the same goal. So.
Well, and it's a pretty good chunk of change.
It's a big chunk of
$720,000. That's a lot of money.
It's just right now is just trying to keep ourselves calm down, not overdo it, not underdo it, and make the right decisions for the horses. So.
Now the race goes hopefully very well for you after this. Do we get to see Ellen's regard again here at Remington?
Yeah, she's in the Heritage.
Okay.
Depends on how she pulls up. We're going to point her towards the Heritage, and then I think they told me they went ahead and paid her up in the Firecracker and some stuff down in Texas. So
she'll be busy.
She's got a busy year as long as she stays healthy and sound.
Well, good luck and congratulations on making the final. Good luck on the big race on Saturday night. Stacy Capps, winner of the Oklahoma Futurity here, I think just last year. Now trying to add the Remington Park Futurity to that resume here at Remington Park. We'll take a time out and come back with more here on the Quarter Racing Update at Remington Park.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
Somewhere there's music, I'll faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love is far away till it comes true. That you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, I'm near and far.
Time for the Juniors of Oklahoma City Highlights Recap. April 6th, the $50,000 Mr. Jetmore Stakes at 350 yards. 3-year-olds and older in this one, and it drew a nice field, including number 4, Painted Lies, a 2-time stakes winner in 2012. Cody Smith had the mount. Number 1, the youngster in the group at 3 years old, Wagons West, with only 3 starts under his belt. He broke his maiden just a few weeks before the Mr. Jetmore. Priceless Feature, the 5-horse, and the public's choice in the race, Trained by Eddie Willis, he won the 2012 Heritage Place Derby before a second-place finish in the Rainbow. Jimmy Brooks, the jockey, on Priceless Feature. And the 7, winner of the Mighty Deck 3 Handicap on opening weekend, Fast Prize Jordan. He had the riding services of G.R. Carter.
They're off in the Mr. Jetmore Stakes. Priceless Feature away second behind. Cadillac Man outside rolling. There's Fast Prize Jordan on the early lead. Fast Prize Jordan leading Priceless Feature down inside Painted Lies. 100 yards to go. Fast Prize Jordan going for 2 wins in a row this season. Priceless Feature with one more surge to the inside. Fast Prize Jordan outside will win it.
Now a 2-time stakes winner during the 2013 meeting, Fast Prize Jordan wins the Mr. Jetmore over Wagons West and Priceless Feature. Fast Prize Jordan, owned by Wetona Stanley and William Smith, his final time 17.465 seconds for the 350 yards. G.R. Carter in the irons for the victory. Brian Muse, the winning trainer of Fast Prize Jordan. 2-time distance champion DePassamoke was defending his stakes title in the Grade 3 Pauls Valley Handicap at 870 yards. He'd have formidable competition, though, first in the form of number 4, Doc's Dusty Okie, Freddie Martinez, the jockey, and the 2-horse, O Cooper Go, a stakes winner at Fair Meadows last year. He had Randy Wilson in the irons. Number 3, DePassamoke. On his toes for his return to Remington Park, Berkeley Packer had the call from trainer Rodney Reed.
They're off in the Pauls Valley Handicap. Good start from the rail. SRD Bob Wire Bob right there. DePassamoke moves up in second as they go to the turn in between runners. Is O Cooper Go in third, a length and a half back, 3 furlongs to go. Call Her Hero is fourth and trying to hold the turn. Taking the rail trip is Doc's Dusty Okie, advancing sharply as SRD Bob Wire Bob blows the turn. At a quarter mile left to run, it is O Cooper Go with the nose on the lead, but Doc's Dusty Okie hugging that rail is going to scoot on through. DePassamoke is floated wide in third now as they straighten away. O Cooper Go right there, a furlong left inside Doc's Dusty Okie. The champ to the outside, DePassamoke, a ton of work to do. A 16th left. O Cooper Go tough on the front. O Cooper Go trying to hold off DePassamoke, and O Cooper Go will do it by 3 parts of a length over DePassamoke.
In a slight upset, O Cooper Go victorious in the Grade 3 Pauls Valley over DePassamoke. Doc's Dusty Okie finished third. O Cooper Go is owned and trained by Jackie Kirby, jockey Randy Wilson making the best of his first ride after a layoff. Bred in Oklahoma by Rex and or Sue Cox. O Cooper Go, winner of the 2013 Pauls Valley Handicap. And that puts a wrap on this week's Juniors Highlights Recap. Juniors, Oklahoma City's ultimate dining experience since 1973.
There's an extensive look back at highlights here at Remington Park from recent stakes races. We'll have a package probably about that long next week on the show because a lot of stakes racing coming up this weekend. Join me now, Danielle Bryan, with Racing Free. And Danielle, you're having a great season, not only personally here at Remington Park and the things you're doing, but Racing Free overall and the mushroom cloud of success that's going on with Racing Free.
Yeah, you know, we have just been thrilled at the response that we've received so far with Racing Free, especially from Remington Park. Remington Park has been great about promoting us, letting owners know $300 in, $1,500 rewards. So we've been out and about, letting owners know what's going on. We're going to take a look at some footage that we are really excited about, 4 horses especially that are running this weekend.
Glory Rider is one of the 3 memberships received from the prominent Oklahoma owners, You and Me Partners. And it's needless to say, Racing Free is thrilled to have them on board. Trained by Casey Willis, Glory Rider had an outstanding trial and is definitely one to look out for in the Derby final. Bon Accord, a seasoned Racing Free Incentive Program member, will be racing for his 3rd $1,500 reward check within the program. Owned by Garvin Kelly and Nancy Yearsley, this owner partnership is certainly reaping the rewards of Racing Free with over 6 wins and clear drug tests since the program's inaugural season. A horse that's no stranger to stakes finals, Feature Hero is another one of several Racing Free member horses from the Eddie Willis Racing Stable. His natural talent and grit make him an exceptional racehorse who also has an excellent shot of racing free across the finish line. It's a great weekend for owners Reliance Ranches, who not only own Feature Hero, but are proud to own the fastest Futurity qualifier, Coronado Cartel. A colt that has certainly lived up to his hype so far, his involvement as a racing-free incentive program member horse is one that makes a huge industry statement. Well-bred, well-raised, and well-trained racehorses in the right hands can dominate this sport. The Racing Free and Reliance Ranches team hope to see this colt continue to make impressive strides and showcase his natural talent for the next several Futurity trials and finals.
For us, we're looking to him to be the first standing stud that's been racing free his whole life. I mean, that's going to be so impressive to know that he has been clean in every one of his races. We have such high hopes for him.
And it's very important for people to realize that a horse that is fastest qualifier to such a prestigious Futurity as the Remington Park Oklahoma bred Futurity, and standing up and saying that he's racing performance enhancing drug free, I hope that it's an inspiration to people to know that they can win and they can have good horses without using performance enhancing drugs.
So like you saw in the video, we are extremely thrilled at all the great things that are happening. I think it makes a very big industry statement. With so many people involved, we have over 100 members running. It tracks across the country, so to have such talented horses racing free and really standing for this cause, we are thrilled.
And this is a big weekend. You have huge money races, and we just saw in the two biggest races this weekend, 4 horses featured, and a couple of them, many people believe, with great chances to win those races. So it's not just the overnight races we're talking about. Everybody can get involved, but in these big races, it's nice to have horses involved too.
Absolutely, and we have owners with one horse involved that they really just want to stand for the cause. We try and make racing free an outlet for those owners that want to stand against performance enhancing drugs, and really want to take advantage of the extra monetary rewards. We try and stay up on our social media, being very positive about the sport of racing, so we want to continue to do that through sponsorships, through the incentive program, through the breeder incentive program, really just getting people excited about racing again.
Now, when this season started about 25 days ago, we're roughly halfway through it. How many horses were involved in the program when the Remington season began, and how many do you have in this season competing now?
I would say there was probably less than 20 when it started, and we go by season, so by racing meet, and now we have well over 100. So it really has been a snowball effect that we are so excited about. We're going to be going from Remington to Ruidoso, really focusing efforts there, but we couldn't be more thrilled with how Remington has treated us as an organization.
Now, we have about half the season to go, so if they're interested, tell everybody what they need to do to get involved.
Please, to get involved, visit racingfree.com. All the information on how to get involved is on there. You can pledge your support, you can donate, you can sign horses up there, you can call the phone number on there. I'll answer. We can talk about anything you want about racing. You can get signed up. You can also look at corporate sponsorship opportunities in the breeder incentive program that offers breeders a chance to really stand against performance enhancing drugs for racing and shine a positive light on a sport we all love. So we really hope to keep gaining that momentum.
She's Danielle Bryan. She's with Racing Free. If you see her here this weekend, she'll be racing with you as well. She'll be here all weekend for these big stakes races at Remington Park. Danielle, always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more of the quarter racing update at Remington Park.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
Somewhere there's music, I'll faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, I'll high the moon. There is no moon above when love's far away too, till it comes true that you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, I'm near and far.
History's Fastest Athletes is sponsored by and produced in conjunction with Speed Horse Magazine. Mr. Masterbug, foaled in 1980, bred in Oklahoma by his owner Marvin Barnes. Mr. Masterbug was trained by Jack Brooks and ridden primarily by Jackie Martin. He was by the thoroughbred Master Hand, and out of the Ladybug's Moon mare, Flick Bug. Mr. Master Bug had the second fastest trial time going into the 82 All-American Futurity and was installed as the favorite. In the final, he broke third, but launched ahead in the final 100 yards to win the All-American Futurity. He was rewarded with Champion 2-year-old Colt and Champion 2-year-old honors. Resting until the Rainbow Derby, he came back in style to win in stakes record time, 21.39 seconds for the quarter mile. Qualifying to the All-American Derby and going in as the public's choice, Mr. Masterbug catapulted to a 1 3/4 length win, only to be disqualified to third place. Undaunted, trainer Jack Brooks loaded up Mr. Masterbug and headed to California. To tune up for the Champion of Champions, they stopped at Turf Paradise to post an easy 3-length win in a 400-yard test. After arriving at Los Alamitos, the Pilgrim Handicap was the first order of business. Mr. Masterbug crossed the finish line with Jackie Martin standing up for an easy 2-length win. The 83 Champion of Champions had one of the richest fields ever. Uncharacteristically, Mr. Masterbug broke slowly and never fired. The only time in 25 starts that he did not like the board. He was crowned Champion 3-year-old Colt and Champion 3-year-old for 1983. At this point, most studs would be retired and pointed to the stud barn, but Mr. Masterbug returned to Ruidoso for a 4-year-old campaign on the track. In June of '84, Mr. Masterbug proved he still had it by taking the Rainbow Silver Cup at Ruidoso. The All-American Gold Cup was slated as Mr. Masterbug's final race. He qualified with a second-place effort, but in the final, Mr. Masterbug splashed down the track for his swan song and won the All-American Gold Cup. He received a standing ovation from the Ruidoso crowd on his way to the winner's circle. Retiring as the all-time leading money earner, Mr. Masterbug had 25 starts with 17 wins, 4 seconds, and 3/3, and will always be known as one of history's fastest athletes.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
And welcome back to the Quarter Racing Update. There's a look at one of the greats from the early 1980s, Mr. Masterbug, an All-American Futurity star. Possible All-American Futurity stars could be coming out of the Remington Park Futurity this Saturday night at Remington Park. $720,000 event, 330 yards, the second of our big 3 quarter horse Futurities this season. Of course, the final one will be later on in May, with the actually early June, the way the calendar falls this year, with the $1 million Heritage Place Futurity. Let's take a look at a few of the runners in the field of 10 on Saturday night, starting first with Coronado Cartel, the top qualifier on the second night of qualifying trials. Coronado Cartel is 2 for 2 in the career, broke his maiden status on the Ides of March 15th, handled that easily, and then rolled to a trial performance win by 2 lengths and had plenty in reserve. It appeared in the final 100 yards or so, just starting out extremely nicely. Took a little bit to get going, did not have the lead out of the gate, but Coronado Cartel halfway home had the nose on the front end and then widened the margin easily over the final 100 or so. So Coronado Cartel, the morning line favorite in the Remington Park Futurity on Saturday night at 5 to 2, will be outside in post position number 10 and have a free sailing opportunity, only with traffic possibly to the inside. Now, one from the same barn, Walking Perry, both trained by trainer Eddie Willis. Walking Perry, highly hyped throughout the course of the year, and like Coronado Cartel, is 2 for 2. Broke the maiden in mid-March on March 15th, and then came back to win this Futurity trial on April the 6th by a length and a half, not by the wide margin that Coronado Cartel had won by, but still fairly easily. After a slight bobble at the start, urged throughout the race, Walking Perry, another one to keep an eye on, the second choice in the morning line at 7-2 odds. Now, two more to take a look at, and one I really have my eye on as well is Just One More Thing. Kind of something my kids like to say, just one more thing. Just One More Thing really was very confidently ridden in his futurity trial on April 5th by G.R. Carter. Now, Stormy Smith will have the call on futurity night as Carter has opted for a quick shooter, another one he qualified. Just One More Thing basically was flagged a little bit, but not a total hand ride, but really the stick wasn't used that much, so Just One More Thing did a lot of that on his own and could have more in reserve for the final coming up on Saturday night. And if you like a price horse, this could be your price horse at 15-1. Just One More Thing, 15-1 on the morning line. Now, Runaway Renata is one more we'll take a look at here. Runaway Renata, a trial winner, breaking the maiden at the same time at first asking on April 6th. Trained by Trey Wood and owned by Sandy and Randy Coleman of Levelland, Texas, Runaway Renata was urged a little bit in the trial performance under jockey Ricky Ramirez, holding on to win by a head over Smoke a Little Smoke, who also made the final. Runaway Renata winning by a head. Ramirez will have the call once again, and at 10-1 on the morning line in the Remington Park Futurity on Saturday evening. So there's a look at a few more runners in the big race, the $720,000 Remington Park Futurity for Oklahoma breds on Saturday night, American Quarter Horse Racing's richest futurity for state-bred runners. We'll take a break and come back with more here on the Quarter Racing Update at Remington Park.
Quarter Racing Update Remington Park is brought to you by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, Speed Horse Magazine, Juniors of Oklahoma City, by Racing Free, and by Oklahoma Equine Hospital.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
Racing Free is dedicated to acknowledging and rewarding the great people in racing who are racing free. In an effort to eliminate the use of performance-enhancing drugs, Racing Free offers incentives for all industry participants. Visit racingfree.com.
Welcome back to this week's Quarter Racing Update at Remington Park, getting set for a huge week of activity. Live racing 6 p.m. Central Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening. Sunday afternoon racing is at 1:30. And again, lots of stakes race opportunities for you. If you like the big money races, this is a great weekend for you at Remington Park. Headlined by the $720,000 Remington Park Futurity on Saturday night. Also on that program with total purses more than $1.1 million is the $253,000 Remington Park Derby. The 3-year-olds getting their say just one race prior to the Futurity. Also on the program, the Grade 2 Bob Moore Memorial Stakes. That one's worth $50,000. Another Oklahoma bred event, the Lycobird Stakes, also worth $50,000. And the Paints and Appaloosas, the older ones getting a chance to go in the $35,000 Mr. Louis Memorial Handicap. That's all on Saturday evening. Sunday afternoon, the 2-year-olds that did not make the final for the Remington Park Futurity but did qualify or actually compete in trials will go in the Remington Park Juvenile. That one is worth $100,000. Preference given to those that competed in the trials and obviously did not make the final for the Futurity. So that's coming up on Sunday afternoon. That first race that afternoon is at 1:30. And don't forget, Sunday afternoon is a chance for you to pick up extra money in our wagering sprees here on track. Just enter the drawing. If we call your name on Sunday, you'll have a chance to make 30 seconds worth of free bets. We'll pay for the bets. You keep the money. That's on Sunday afternoon, each and every Sunday of this season. So get ready for a great weekend headlined by the Remington Park Futurity. For all involved, I'm Dale Day. This is the Quarter Racing Update at Remington Park. Good luck this weekend.